It's a problem not terribly uncommon in Minnesota, especially during the spring. It could impact gas stations and potentially your car. This problem impacted several drivers in the West Metro and brought at least one Plymouth family to a halt. We found out what happened and how the state works to keep it from happening.
And we were lucky the dealership, gave us a loaner for that long.
Kim Hekamovich and her husband share a car. So when it was out of commission a month or so ago,
it was a pain in the butt.
Kim filled up at her local Holiday, drove it home. It sat for an hour. Her husband hopped in to run some errands and
I get a call about a minute later saying the car started violently shaking and it just completely died.
5 hours later, the service counter at the dealership called.
They had told me that this was the third BMW today that they had seen with this same issue. They told me they thought they knew what it was, but they would call to confirm. And about an hour later, I get a text message of a water bottle filled about, 95% water, and like the very top 2% was gasoline.
That they pulled from your car?
That they pulled from my car.
She called the gas station. The next day, she reported it to the State Department of Commerce's Department of Weights and Measures.
We're looking at pricing.
Their job is to make sure you get what you pay for.
We take samples when there are complaints. And when our inspectors go out for a routine inspection of the station to verify the dispenser is dispensing the correct quantity, if we would find a problem with the product, then we would also take a sample for testing then.
He says water in gas tanks happens.
When the ground is frozen and we get a thaw cycle, a lot of times that water is trapped in a parking lot at a gas station, and if things are not properly sealed for an underground tank, that water may find its way into a tank.
And it kept happening at this same station, first in April, then
we received additional complaints in early May, sent an inspector back out. We found that the station had put the product back on sale without our approval. Again, found problems, ordered the product off sale, and took samples, found problems with those samples, and that product continues to be off sale.
The covers on the pumps at the Golden Valley station show it. Holiday Stores owner Circle K did not respond to requests from CCX Media.
We encourage consumers, if they think there's a problem, to call us as soon as possible. The longer they wait, the more likely it is that that station will receive additional loads of gasoline, replacing what's in the tank, and when we follow up, we may not find a problem.
Recovered all the water from the bottom of the tank.
Kim is glad she did.
They do respond to complaints pretty quickly. Yeah, they sent someone out there that day.
So she and her husband could get back to their life. Too much time thinking about your car in the past month.
Oh, entirely too much time. Yes.
The Department of Commerce has received more than 75 complaints to its Weights and Measures Department this year so far, more than half of those about gasoline purchases. A Maple Grove man was due in court Monday on threats of violence charges. Troy Rohrman is charged with 2 felony counts stemming from an incident last week at his home in Maple Grove. According to the criminal complaint, the suspect threatened and assaulted a woman with whom he had a relationship. The complaint said Rohrman became angry over not knowing where a plastic container was for his coffee. Police arrested Rohrman following an hours-long standoff on Wednesday night. The state's legislative session ends at midnight on Monday. Members of the People of Color and Indigenous Caucus met to celebrate the bills approved this year. Leaders said they were, quote, overwhelmed and giddy with their progress during the session. Caucus members specifically praised the education, healthcare, and police reform bills that are headed for the governor's signature. Caucus leaders said those bills reflected the increase in racial diversity in the House and Senate in St. Paul this year.
The reason we wanted to have this press conference today, why it's so important, is we wanted the state to see, and particularly we wanted BIPOC communities to see, that you have representation. You have voices that come from communities and lived experiences like yours. We are here. This is the People's House. The People's House now has a better reflection of what the state of Minnesota looks like.
Frazier said this year's legislation lays a base for closing racial disparities over the coming decades. An Osseo cemetery that's more than 150 years old now has a new name. The Nigler Cemetery was officially renamed over the weekend to Open Gate Cemetery. It was first established in 1868 and adopted the previous name in 1918 to recognize the land donation made by resident Rudolph Nigler. But over the weekend, the nonprofit organization that manages the cemetery changed the name to Open Gate Cemetery to help increase awareness and to reflect the changing demographics in the Osseo and Maple Grove area.
We're quite a benefit to the city in that we take all comers. We're interested in all families, all race, creed, color, and religion, which is unique in this particular part of northern Hennepin County.
The cemetery has several hundred plots available. Some of the future improvements the Cemetery Association plans include making better signage so people know where they're located and creating an online database to find out more about who's buried there. A standout student featured previously on CCX News for her fashion design skills has been recognized for one of the nation's highest honors for high school students. Perpich senior Catrielle Barnett of Plymouth is a U.S. Presidential Scholar Semifinalist in the arts. She's the only student in Minnesota to earn that particular distinction. This winter, Barnett was named a Young Arts National Finalist in Design Arts for outstanding artistic achievement.
It's the final week of the regular season in high school baseball. The Hopkins Royals were looking to break a 3-game losing streak on Friday.
The Royals and the Knights meeting for the second time in 14 days. Hopkins won the first time around. Bottom of the first inning, the Knights' Matthew Mollick rips a single to right field. Zach Zanetti scores from second base, and it's 1-0 STMA after one. Third inning, and the Knights get another run. Drew Luster drives the ball deep to the corner in left field. Mollick scores, and STMA is up 2-0. The Royals get one back in the top of the fourth. Van Telliard drives a single to right field. It skips past the right fielder, and that allows Brendan Wendt to score all the way from first base. Hopkins is on the board at 2-1. And that's the way it stays thanks to some very good pitching. Hopkins starter Will Tominick retires the final 10 batters he faces, including Curtis Leckitz on strikes in the sixth. But STMA pitcher Thomas Ohado is just a little bit better this day. He fans Dylan Lindstrom to end the game. Ohado strikes out 6 on the day. The Knights edge the Royals 2-1.
The Armstrong baseball team took on an opponent Saturday that the Falcons could meet again in the upcoming Section 6 4A tournament, the top team in the city conference.
Armstrong baseball in Minneapolis Saturday for a road game against Southwest. A good start for the Falcons. Dayton Franke rips a single to right field. Drew Kemple scores, and it's 1-0 Armstrong. Then Jake Smith gets a hold of one and sends it deep to left field. It's in the ballpark but bounces to the fence. Andrew Baird scores, and it's 2-0. The Falcons would later add another to go up 3-0 after one. Same score in the fourth when the Lakers' Lewis Walker grounds one sharply past first base and into right field. Andrew Fazio and Finn Joshi scores, and it's a 3-2 game. Later in the fourth, Max Garr hits a ground ball that just sneaks past second and into right field. Walker scores as the Lakers plate 4 runs in the inning and lead 4-3. After tying it at 4, the Falcons retake the lead in the top of the fifth. A.J. Keeblebeck with a ball to right field that falls for a solid single. Smith scores, and it's 5-4 Armstrong. But the Lakers counter with 2 runs of their own in the home half of the fifth. Walker comes through again, this time with a double to deep right field. Mason Olson scores. Southwest is back on top at 6-5. And that's the way it ends. Pitcher Malcolm Munich with a strikeout for Southwest to end the game. The Lakers beat Armstrong 6-5. After winning the state title last season, the Benilde-St. Margaret's boys lacrosse team is looking very strong again. The Red Knights look to stay unbeaten Saturday. Jay Wilcox has the highlights.
The Benilde-St. Margaret's boys lacrosse team looking to stay undefeated as they host Centennial. The Red Knights attack here. Gus Bell to Carson Brandt, and he flicks it to Dylan Popine and close for the goal, and Benilde leads it 2-0. 4 goals in all for him. Bell takes the pass, and this time he'll take it himself, burying the shot for a 4-1 Red Knights lead. Bell also scores 4 times. Second quarter, and Brandt gets it to Popine, and he finds the cutter Hunter Payer. That goal makes it 8-1 BSM. Bell is shifty. He changes directions and then outruns the defender across the slot to bury it up high. The Red Knights are in command at 9-1. Third quarter, and they work it around the horn here. Brandt scores as Benilde improves to 12-0 with an 18-4 win. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.